Hey everybody, if you're looking for a intro lesson to percussive guitar playing, then I'd like to share some of this info with you. When I think about adding percussive parts to an arrangement, I always think of myself as a guitarist first. Real important, because if you start to think yourself as a percussionist, then your parts on the guitar aren't going to feel natural. They won't be as melodic. They won't have direction. Sometimes they will, but for the most part, you're kind of gambling with that. So you really want to really have a guitar part cemented down so that it sounds good first. And something that's kind of rhythmic. Now, what I mean by that is that you don't have to fill every sonic space with notes, but rhythmic in the way that you want some space there. Because if you have that space, then you have a place to add some percussion to your sound, and that's what you want. So let me play the chords as if I wasn't thinking about adding any percussion in there, and this is what it would sound like. Alright, so that's what the guitar part would sound like, and it sounds good on its own. However, you saw that there were some spots in there where I could add some percussion, and in the very beginning, that's what I was doing. So let me run through the chords real quick with you so that you have an idea of where I'm going with this. So the first chord is an A minor 7. Okay, and you can look at the diagram right above my right shoulder there. That will give you exactly where to play these chords. D minor 9. Have a G7 sus4. We go to a G with a B in the bass. We go to an A minor 7. And then we go back up here to an E7 sharp 9. D minor 9. Sometimes I put A in the bass. G7 sus4. G with B in the bass. Then I go to a C chord. And then back up to my A minor 7 again. Okay? Now, where the percussive stuff comes in, I'm going to show you the techniques here so you have these as well. There's just a few techniques really, they're not difficult. If you're not used to this, then this will be a real good place to start. I'm doing this palm heel strike on the body. Okay, just acting as a low drum, maybe a kick drum. Okay, in the world of percussion, it could be any type of handheld drum with a deep sound. And then I go into a slap under the waist. You can get a couple different sounds here. If you go inside the waist more, you get a different sound than on the edge of it. So you want to experiment. Every guitar is going to sound different. Every guitar is going to resonate differently and sound different. So you might want to think about different places to play these parts. But this works out real well for me. I'm just using my wrist to flatten out here. And it works real well because as I do my wrist, my fingers come up. I just move down slightly, and I'm able to catch the waist. So let's see if you can see that there. Okay. The other technique I'm using is a brush technique. And that works really well to set up my slap. Okay. See if you can see that again. There it is. And then the other technique I'm using is just a thumb tap right above the sound hole. Okay. Usually what I'll do is I'll arrange this because if I need to get back to my strings quickly, I don't want to be caught way down here. I'll never make it back up in time. If I do, again, I'm gambling. It may not sound right. So I'm keeping this close. The last thing I'm doing is I'm usually going to put in a percussive knock against the strings with my knuckles. Okay. Usually I just make a loose fist and come straight down the strings. Okay. So when I start this off, I grab that A minor 7 and I come right back on the strings again. Okay, so you might want to practice that. Alright, D minor 9. There's my palm heel and my slap. And I come right back to my strings again. Alright, something I should mention. I'm doing a lot of this with this claw type style right hand. What that means is that I am placing my thumb on the bass note, alright, either the 6th string or the 5th string, okay. Of course, what dictates that is, where my bass note is with my left hand. And then my 1st finger, 2nd, and 3rd finger are assigned to their respective strings. So in this case, I'm keeping the 1st finger on the 4th, 2nd finger on the 3rd, 3rd finger on the 2nd string. And my thumb here for these first 2 chords is on the 5th string. Now, if you haven't played fingerstyle before, real quick tutorial here, and if you're not sure, certainly consult some fingerstyle lessons on this. But real quick, I'll give you the rundown. Thumb needs to be in front of the fingers behind the thumb, so you have follow through into the palm. Real important, because you don't want to get caught up in this pinching technique, because you'll end up using more wrist than your fingers and your thumb, and you're going to be out of position most of the time when you're playing, resulting in being very inaccurate, very sloppy, very noisy type playing. So if you find that your playing needs to be more accurate, or you want to maybe make it cleaner sounding, then certainly try to rearrange the way you approach the strings, and just with a slight angle of your wrist here. Okay, it's all hand mechanics. It cleans everything up. It's amazing. Put your thumb in front, fingers behind, so you have that follow through into your palm. If you can do that, you'll be a step ahead of the game if you're not used to this technique. Okay, so we have this part. Actually, start with A minor 7. Now here's where I need to get closer because the rhythm changes here. My thumb, if you notice, comes up on the 6th string. Finger assignments are on the same strings, 4th, 3rd, and 2nd, right? That's that next part. Thumb tap, and then loose fist. I come down to my G with B in the bass. Actually, this part, I'll come up here. No percussion there, it's too quick. E7 sharp 9, thumb tap, and then I do my hit and my slap. And then of course, my loose fist against the strings. So that part. One more time. Alright, come down here. Thumb tap. Loose fist. Right. Okay, now you can rearrange that any way you want to. I think I just rearranged part of those sections. That's okay. Whatever your chord progression is, certainly try to apply some of these patterns. Okay, you can even simplify this a little bit and just do this.